Look at all of these happy faces. One of the main contributors to our feelings of happiness is the molecule serotonin. Serotonin is known as the happy chemical, and it plays an important role in many of our body's functions and emotions, such as mood, sleep, and appetite, to name just a few. It's commonly classified as a neurotransmitter, but it's sometimes known as a hormone when functioning in the gut, where about 90% of the body's serotonin is produced. The rest is made in the brain, and serotonin works throughout the body in the gut and enteric nervous system, the central nervous system, and blood platelets. Serotonin has many benefits and uses, which I'll be talking about, but first we need to understand some of the history behind serotonin. In 1935, Vittorio Erspemer showed that an extract from enterochromaffin cells made intestinal tissue contract. Other chemists believed the extract contained adrenaline, but 2 years later, Erspemer demonstrated that it was a previously unknown amine, which he named enteramine. In 1948, Maurice Rapport, Arda Green, and Irvine Page of the Cleveland Clinic discovered a vasoconstrictor substance in the blood serum and named it serotonin. In 1952, it was shown that enteramine was the same substance as serotonin. From there, Rapport worked to identify its structure and published his findings alone. Since its discovery, research has connected serotonin with mood regulation, appetite, cognition, and sleep, as well as gastrointestinal roles and many others. Next, we need to know how serotonin is produced to fully understand how it works in the body.
Serotonin is a monoamine neurotransmitter, a term that refers to its chemical structure and the fact that it is derived from an amino acid. To synthesize serotonin, the amino acid tryptophan is converted to 5-hydroxytryptophan, or 5-HTP, and 5-HTP is converted to serotonin, or 5-HT. Serotonin neurons are primarily found in the brainstem in clusters of neurons called the raphe nuclei. Serotonin neurons from the raphe nuclei project throughout the brainstem and brain and provide serotonin to the rest of the central nervous system.
One of the main takeaways from that we need to understand is how important tryptophan is to the synthesis of serotonin. This is the reason why certain foods, including eggs, cheese, turkey, nuts, salmon, tofu, and pineapple, aid the body in its production of serotonin since they're good sources of tryptophan. Once serotonin has been produced in the body, it has many benefits and important functions. As a neurotransmitter, serotonin relays signals between neurons and plays a key role in the central nervous system and the general functioning of the body, especially in the GI tract. Serotonin influences most brain cells both directly and indirectly, which explains why it has such importance and impact on our bodies. Before I explain each of these benefits, let's connect the first one to this clip.
I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I did this! Mother would be so furious. But that's okay. I mean, what she doesn't know won't kill her, right? Oh my gosh. This would kill her. This is so fun! I am a horrible daughter. I'm going back. I am never going back! I am a despicable human being. Best day ever!
As we can see in this clip, our moods can fluctuate very drastically. One of the most prominent benefits serotonin plays in the body is its regulation of mood. Serotonin plays a key role in controlling anxiety and happiness, and it's a natural mood stabilizer in the body. When serotonin levels are normal, you feel happier, calmer, more focused, less anxious, and overall more emotionally stable. Here's another clip to lead us into some of the other functions that serotonin has in the body.
So good, but I'm so full. Come on, man up. Here we go. Huh? Oh, there it is. There it is. That's nice, isn't it? Just thank you. Breathe through it. You're a good friend.
We all know the uncomfortable fullness you get after eating too much, like we saw in the clip. Serotonin actually works to reduce our appetite while we eat to try to avoid overeating. A similar benefit of serotonin is nausea, which doesn't sound like a good thing at first, but if you were to eat something that's toxic or irritating, the gut produces more serotonin to increase transit time and expel the substance out of the body as quickly as possible. This stimulates the nausea area in the brain as well, through increases in blood serotonin levels, which results in our recognition of the feeling we all associate with an upset stomach. Another similar function of serotonin is the regulation of bowel function and movements. This is largely part of the reason why most of the body's serotonin is found within the GI tract. Serotonin doesn't just work in the gut, though. It also helps with bone health and plays an important role in formation of blood clots. It's released by platelets when there's a wound, which results in vasoconstriction to reduce blood flow and help blood clots to form. Serotonin also has many functions in the liver, such as innervation, regeneration, and hepatic blood flow. Also, serotonin plays a key role in healing wounds, especially in the context of burn injuries. It has even been shown that serotonin benefits the heart through its ability to increase heart rate and increase force of contraction when necessary. Since serotonin influences so many of our brain cells, as I mentioned before, it also plays a large role in our motor activity, perceptive and cognitive functions, body temperature, breathing, and it plays a large role in our circadian rhythm. Serotonin is responsible for stimulating the parts of the brain that control sleep and waking. It helps in the production of melatonin, and whether you sleep or wake depends on what area is stimulated and which serotonin receptor is used in the brain. Serotonin is also great since it's so easy to boost naturally. Some of the ways to help increase serotonin levels are exercise, meditation, exposure to sunlight, which is especially helpful in treating seasonal depression, and a healthy diet, especially a healthy gut. This can come from foods that I mentioned earlier that have high tryptophan levels. As we can see, serotonin is such an important and beneficial chemical that we couldn't function normally without. It impacts so many parts of our bodies and helps with everything from mood and sleeping to eating and digesting, making its impacts so numerous. Not only does serotonin serve many purposes naturally in the body, it is also very useful in medicinal applications as well. Drugs that target serotonin receptors are used widely in psychiatry and neurology, but serotonin's main use is as an antidepressant. One very commonly prescribed type of antidepressant is called an SSRI, which stands for Selective Serotonin Reuptake Inhibitor. It's often seen in patients with depression that there's too much reuptake of serotonin into a neuron, which prevents it from binding to a receptor on a different neuron to produce a signal. This animation is showing the synaptic cleft between two neurons, and you can see serotonin going back into the first neuron, which is preventing it from creating a signal. As I've mentioned, the signals that serotonin relays throughout the body are very important to normal function and behavior, so when a person's serotonin levels are not up to normal, an SSRI can be used to fix that, as this next clip will explain.
Serotonin travels through the body through pathways called neurons. Serotonin will leave one neuron through channels and attach to receptors of another neuron. This sends signals that eventually regulates mood. Serotonin can detach from the receptor and go back to the neuron it came from. It is able to do this because the serotonin channel is reversible. Prozac, or fluoxetine, goes to the gap between the neurons and blocks the serotonin channel, inhibiting the reuptake of serotonin. This forces serotonin to sit on the receptor site of the second neuron, which then transmits the signal that helps improve mood. It eventually increases serotonin throughout the body. This is why Prozac is known as a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor.
Serotonin is also used for SNRIs, which are serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors, which work in the same way as SSRIs, but they inhibit the reuptake of both serotonin and norepinephrine rather than just serotonin. Also, SSRIs are mainly used to treat depression and its symptoms, where SNRIs can be used to treat other conditions in addition to depression, such as anxiety, chronic muscle and joint pain, diabetic neuropathy, fibromyalgia, osteoarthritis, and panic disorder. Norepinephrine works to mobilize the brain and body and works well in conjunction with serotonin to effectively treat these disorders. As we can see, medications affecting serotonin have been shown to work very well in treating a large variety of diseases already, and serotonin can work alongside other neurotransmitters to help treat even more illnesses, which shows there are lots of possibilities with serotonin in medicine to treat both mental and physical disorders. More research is being done about serotonin and all the ways in which it works in the human body. Drugs that affect serotonin neurotransmission to treat bowel disorders, migraines, schizophrenia, and eating disorders have become more implemented and are still being studied further. With serotonin's many functions and effects on the body, its uses will continue to be developed through more and more research. Overall, serotonin is essential to life in so many ways. It impacts us all day, every day, all throughout our bodies, and there's no denying that serotonin holds great responsibility in our general well-being, both physically and mentally. This happy chemical is used for so much more than its nickname implies, and we should all appreciate the amazing things that serotonin does for us.